Abdullah, give me a drum roll, please.
Man,
It's time! The Jackson and Shabazz show. We're back.
oh my goodness. Where the fuck have we been, man? Where have
Well,
we been?
we've kind of got a lot of stuff going on in our lives right now. As you can tell, I'm not in the normal studio. I'm holding the laptop on my knees right now. So if it moves a lot like this, I'm sorry. We're going through a lot of transition in both of our lives right now. We both started new jobs, and obviously that move from Kentucky back to New York. I'm not really in a permanent residence at the moment, so we had to take last week off just because we are both exhausted from our new jobs and, just got a lot of crazy stuff going on. But we are back this week. Abdullah, what's going on?
Listen, man. I just want to thank everybody for. No, I don't want to thank anybody. Listen, this is like my favorite fucking time of the week, man. It's filming this, and like honestly, it's a privilege, it's a blessing, man. I think you're a fairly decent co-host. You're all right, man.
I'm
But for
okay.
everybody watching, man,
We could do it without me. It's still gonna have to be called the Jackson and Shabazz show, but like we can get a different co-host. Like it's fine. I'm not
yeah,
that great. I'm not
we'll
that great.
we'll
So
get
just
your
be honest.
brother. You'll get your brother Liam. He'll be all right.
We'll find somebody else with the last name Jackson, and then just we'll replace my face, and it'll be fine.
There we go. But
All
hey,
right.
let me just tell you. Let me tell you something funny, man.
As per every episode, we start with a funny story. So Abdullah, take it away.
All right, listen. So, all right. So at the job I work at, which will not be, he's a big, like 6'6", 6'7", probably a strong 325 pounds. If I'm being generous, honestly, he's not fat, but he's fat as fuck. All right, so no, I'm just kidding. So the guy, right? We were like talking about sizes of clothes and stuff like that, and he's like, he had this crew neck on, and he's like so excited when he's explaining it to me because they gave me some clothes today at work. He's like, "Yeah, here goes your stuff," and he gave me a 3X. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I don't fit a 3XL. Okay, so he gave me the 3XL crew neck, and he's like, "Oh, once you put it in the dryer, it'll be fine." I was like, "You know what? You're right. Crew neck strength." So the 6'6" guy is like, "Oh, this crew neck here used to be an 8X and it fits me perfectly." And I'm like, that's not some shit I'll brag about, bro. Just so you know, like 8X is like borderline my 700-pound life. Like that's their size of clothing. So
Where do
he's
you
trying
even
to.
order that?
That was my next question. I was like, so did you get that custom made? And he's like, oh yeah, but it fits perfectly now. And I'm just looking at his stomach and I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't fit perfectly, actually. But oh my God. Crazy thing is that individual is gonna watch this, so I'm sorry. And you're a really good guy, just so you know.
Well, I don't know who he's talking about, and I think I'm going to keep it that way. All right, so that is the funny story. I wish I had one to contribute, but to be honest, it's just been a crazy 2 weeks since the last time we did an episode. I don't know that I really have anything funny going on right now, so we're just going to
No,
keep it
wait, no,
pushing.
no, 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 we're not. Let me tell you a second funny story. This is this
Oh,
this is Hunter's story, but told from my
told from
perspective.
your perspective.
All
Okay.
right, so all right, listen. So I had this angry driver. I'm on my way to. No, I was actually on my way back from work. Literally 2 days ago. I have a thing where if you're an asshole on the road to me, I'm a double asshole to you. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I was wrong in this instance, but two wrongs don't make a right. So I had to make sure I violated more than she did. I'm driving, right? Most of the time, like, I drive a Challenger. There's not a lot of visibility. You have to physically turn your head all the way around to look at like your blind spot. So I looked in my rear view mirror and I didn't see a car. So I slowly turned over to the right and lady beeps the horn and she was kind of close. And I was like, oh man, like I feel bad. So I'm looking in the rear view mirror and obviously she can't see what I'm saying to her. But all I see is this girl go like this. And swear to God, this is exactly how she did it. Took both hands off the wheel on I-90, the highway, went just like this. Took her time to do that to me, right?
Truth be
And
told, that's you got to respect that. I
I
mean, come on.
listen, I know she was driving with her knees. I kind of respect it, but bitch, do you know who you're talking to? Do you know who
No,
you're putting the finger up at?
no, I
Right?
didn't.
Right? So here's what I did. I looked at it. I kind of smirked a little bit. I was like, damn, like she kind of went all in on that one. So I'm riding in front of her, right? I'm in the I was in the middle lane at that point. I see her signal over to the left lane as if she's gonna try to like side to side me so she could do it. Right. When I swerved over to the left lane, I cut her off again. And speed limit 65. I'm going 47, right? But the traffic is so backed up on the right side of me, she can't move. So I'm just cruising slow, listening to some loud ratchet trap music. And I'm just sitting there just like this, right? Looking in the rearview mirror. She must have been Italian because she was using her hands a lot, all that extra stuff. So I was about to brake check her, to be honest. So anyway, I sped up a little bit. She's right behind me. She tries to merge to the right lane so that she can go in front of me. I just speed it up on her. I'm going 80 at this point. She's trying to go neck and neck with me in her little freaking Hyundai Sonata or whatever the hell she had.
Ford Fusion.
That was my last car, bro. Don't you ever disrespect me like that again, bro. Rest in peace to my Ford Fusion. So she's trying to cut me off or whatever. I sped past her going 80. She comes to the side of me, and you can feel when somebody's staring at you, and I'm just like, I'm not looking at her. I sped up again. No, actually, I slowed down to let her go in front of me, so she went into the fast lane in front of me. I'm neck and neck with her. I did the funniest shit you'll ever imagine. Just like this, bro. So let's say like I'm side, you're her looking at me. I went just like this.
That's funny. Straight up, if that happened to me, dude, I look in the rear view, like take it back to the beginning of the story. If I look in the rear view, and here, I don't know if I can do this balancing the laptop on my knees, and somebody takes the time while going down the highway to do this, I'm just gonna roll down my window and give you a thumbs up because I mean, straight like that's impressive. Like people get road rage all the time, but to be creative with the road rage, now that's impressive. All right, thank you for the stories. Okay, so today, we kind of felt like we've been doing a really serious show the last couple episodes, and that's not really what this show's about. Obviously, we take this very seriously, and we like to have serious discussions, but we also like to joke around and have some fun. That's why we start every episode with a funny story. So today, we wanted to just kind of joke around and laugh with each other. So some of the topics we have, and we're going to start with this one. What is your top 3 favorite uniforms in basketball? Just based off of appearance, okay? And I want it to be uniforms that are, not their alternate uniforms. I suppose I should have told you this before we made the list because I don't know if that's in your list or not.
Of course it is, you fucking dickhead.
Okay, never mind. Then we'll switch it up. Mine are just their normal jerseys, but we can have discussions after that because obviously, like in my list, if we were doing the alternate jerseys, the Miami Heat have some crazy ones, the Lakers have some crazy ones. So I was just trying to keep it to their normal home and away, but that's totally fine. So I want to know what your favorite uniforms are in the NBA, and then after we both give ours and we discuss that, we'll move into our least favorite.
All right, my 3 favorites are very simple. Celtics have probably the best jerseys I've ever seen, especially when you pair it with the black and the green is stellar. Warriors, I love Warriors jerseys. Love them. And the last one, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I love their jerseys as well. My 3 favorites.
Yeah, so Oklahoma City is the number 1 on my list. There's not really an order, but Oklahoma City's right up there. I think that blue and that orange combination is great. It's different, obviously, than the Knicks combination. The blue's slightly different, but I do love that jersey. For me, is one of the more iconic jerseys is the Lakers. I love those yellow and purple Lakers jerseys. I just listen. Obviously my list is uniforms that pop. I just like those jerseys that are really eye appealing. I just think there's something really cool about that yellow in the Lakers jersey because yellow's kind of an ugly color. You know what I mean? Yeah. But those Lakers jerseys, they're so iconic. I think that those Laker jerseys are pretty awesome. And then the third for me, I was torn between because I also had the Celtics on my list.
Yeah.
But I deleted the Celtics off my list because it's tough because this is more of a colorway for me. I love the way the Hornets jerseys look. That purple and blue.
I thought about the Hornets.
Yeah.
But I thought about them as the worst, not the best.
Interesting. No, see, I think that they're done the wrong way. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the Hornets jerseys, but the colorway has the most potential. I think. I think that purple and the blue. I think that that colorway has the most potential. I think that whoever's designing their uniforms need to get fired because they're bland. But those two colors they go perfect together.
Well, I gotta say, one that I was torn on actually, and now you want to fuck it up and say, "Oh, no, just a regular jersey." The best jersey that I probably ever saw was the Miami Heat, Miami Knights.
100%.
Best, most fire jersey I
I
ever saw
agree.
in my life.
I 100% agree. The black ones, and
Oh, dope,
this year they came out with those pink ones. And listen,
dope.
those are amazing. So yeah, I should have told you that before because I mean we could go on for days with alternate jerseys because a lot of the teams' alternate jerseys are awesome.
Great,
Back
yeah.
in like 2013, the Knicks had alternate jerseys that were all orange. And they only wore them like 4 times that season, and that was like back when we actually had a decent team. And every time they wore them, they lost, so they never brought them back. They were like 0-4 wearing those orange jerseys. But Google them; they were the coolest things ever. Actually, you know what? They have them in 2K this year. I don't know why, but they have them as like a throwback alternate jersey in 2K. They're really really cool.
I'll check it out.
Okay, so let's move on to.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
No, next time we play 2K together, I'll just wear them, and then you'll be forced to watch to look at them.
Sure.
What are your list of the worst jerseys? I actually want to go first because I've got a lot to say about these ones.
I mean, sure. Be my guest since you're begging me. Go ahead.
All right. First for me is the Timberwolves. Those jerseys are fucking trash. They're
You
trash.
are fucking
First
drunk.
of all,
Who drinks on a Thursday night, Hunter? Who does that? Don't you have work tomorrow?
I used to. No, I think those Timberwolves jerseys are trash. They're so boring. That color blue is boring.
No,
they're boring. The only interesting ones are those gray ones.
Gray is the best one. That's the best one.
That
for
lime
sure.
Green one is fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it's not.
And to be honest with you, this is a segue into something a little bit later, but they had the potential to be an awesome logo as well, and their logo is boring. If you bring it back to like what the uniforms and the logos were in the 90s when Kevin Garnett was on that team, I mean that is what the pinnacle of those jerseys were, and now they're bland. There's nothing special to those jerseys whatsoever.
I disagree.
My second on the list is the Atlanta Hawks. I think those jerseys are fucking stupid. I like the jerseys that they had, I mean, if you throw it back to the 80s jerseys, Dominique Wilkins, those are awesome. But, even the ones for when, the Joe Johnson, Mike Bibby, Damari Carroll, those Hawks, those were fine. These new ones, when they did this new rebranding and this like that red and that lime green and that stupid texture on it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's awkward.
I think that person needs to get fired as well. And I really thought that when they unveiled it for the first time, I think everybody at the same time was like, what the fuck is that? But they kept it. This is like their third or fourth season going on to it. And I don't understand it. I think that's number one on my list for the worst uniform in the NBA. I think
that actually is number one on my list too, the Hawks. Yeah.
It's terrible. And the third for me, just because I think the colors are absolutely boring, are the New Orleans Pelicans.
Bro, you're bugging.
Bro,
you're bugging.
There is nothing interesting about those Pelicans jerseys.
I like them, bro.
A very boring blue, a very boring tan color, and a slight pop of red every now and then. I think those Pelicans jerseys are super boring. The only good-looking ones are the NOLA ones, the red ones.
NOLA, that's fire, bro. Like, what?
That's it, though. If you're talking about their home and away jerseys, those things are so boring.
I don't know, man. I don't think they're that bad. Let me tell you my three. Like, I don't know. Did I lose you? No, there you are.
Yeah, no, I lost you for a second, but we're back.
All right, number
one.
Hello,
welcome to the Jackson and Shabazz.
Number one is the Atlanta Hawks. Most horrible jersey. And what makes it even worse is that Trae Young looks like a weasel. So when you put him in a bad looking jersey, it makes him look horrible.
He looks like he shoots a three and celebrates by going.
Number two is the Suns. I despise the Suns jerseys.
Interesting.
Bro, they look horrible.
I agree
I
with
swear.
their home jerseys being boring, but their away, the purple ones too. You think those purple ones are bad?
Hideous.
Interesting.
Devin Booker wearing and it's funny you said the purple jerseys because I thought about this. Devin Booker looks like a gay fashion designer wearing those purple jerseys. All right.
Let's tone it down a little bit, okay?
He's a basketball player, by the way. Third one. And I'm not saying this just because you're a Knicks fan. I swear to you, I do not like the Knicks.
I'm glad you just lagged. I'm glad you just lagged because I didn't even get to hear what you said.
It's cool. So, I said the New York Knickerbockers. I do not like their jerseys.
Really?
Every time I think of a Knicks jersey, all I think of is Pippen yakking all over. I didn't lag. Patrick Ewing. That's the suspense that I have. That's all I think about, bro. The Knicks jerseys are terrible.
Really?
They're terrible, bro. I'm sorry.
Listen, I will agree with you till the cows come home that the Knicks are terrible. My team, my love, my heart. But the Knicks are terrible, but their uniforms are like the only good thing about being a fan right now because I like wearing their colors. Interesting.
I don't like it.
Interesting. Is it the color combination? Like, what is it? Is it the color combination?
Yeah, no, the white and orange. It's stupid. I mean, listen, there was one that I liked, and I don't remember what game, like what year. I think it was 2013, 14, maybe. I just remember it was the game Melo dropped. Was it 61 or
62 against the Bobcats?
62. Whatever jersey, that was a blue one, I believe he wore.
Yeah, with the white stripes.
Yes.
It had white stripes on the sleeves. That's my favorite also. They don't wear it anymore. It's a damn shame.
That's fire.
He used to wear the white shooting sleeves with it.
Facts, the sleeves. Yep. Exactly. Yep. He made it look good. Mm-hmm. But other than that, nah, those jerseys are ass, bro. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's take this into football. Go ahead and give me your top 3 favorite uniforms in football.
All right, obviously, I swear I'm not just being a biased fan, but Steelers, I love their jerseys. Obviously, they're number 1 for me. The whole reason I fell in love with it, revert back to episode 5, the Bumblebee colorway. When I was younger, I used to live in Baltimore, Maryland, blah, 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 blah. The Bumblebee colorway is my favorite one. Second, I really love the Rams uniforms. I think
their
the
new
combination.
Ones, their new ones are cool.
The combination is really, really nice. I think it looks really, really good. It's clean. And there's some uniforms, like you look at that, there's just colorways in spots that don't make sense. So that's what I'm basing it off of, if it makes sense. So Rams. All right, there you go.
I just lost you.
Yeah, okay. We good. The last one, I'm bringing this back to college football. And anybody that watches college football, you have to agree. Oregon Ducks. Probably best uniform I have ever, especially they got the glove.
Yeah, if only they could win a meaningful game. But yeah, they've got great uniforms. They really do.
Fire.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I'm sorry, I had to readjust. Like legit, when I tell you, it's like I'm literally sitting on my bed right now. So my legs went numb holding up my laptop. So it's just unfortunate. I'm not in the studio that you guys are accustomed to. And in the last episode we did, I did make a studio, but that studio is 40 minutes away from where I'm living. So I decided that I don't want to have to go there every week because after working until 7 o'clock at night, sometimes it's just not going to be able to be doable.
Yeah, you're selfish. We get it.
I am. I am. It's been a long couple weeks. All right, so the Steelers are in my top 3 as well. There's something about that black and yellow. There's something about that black and yellow it's just fantastic. I do love the combinations. Now the logo, not a big fan of the logo. I just don't understand it. I don't.
Was that the question, Hunter, or is that just you throwing in some sidebar?
Yeah, just a sidebar.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
So for me, I love the black and yellow. I agree. The Bumblebee jerseys. You know, a lot of people don't like those Bumblebee jerseys, and they retired them.
I know.
But I do like those Bumblebee jerseys also.
Yeah.
For me, and again, this is really in no particular order, but the Steelers were definitely number 1 on that list.
Yeah.
For me, I love the Vikings jerseys. I love that purple and yellow
I
combination.
think it's clean. Yeah, it's
I
clean.
think it's really, really cool, especially on like a Sunday night football game where it's
Yeah.
under the bright lights, but it's dark outside. I really like the way those Vikings jerseys look.
Yeah.
And for me, just their main jerseys, just their home and away, the green ones, just the green ones. I'm sorry. I like the Packers jerseys as well.
I thought about that. I do love the Packers jersey too. I like those.
I guess for me, there's something about having yellow as a secondary color that I
Yeah.
really like. There's something about that yellow that really is eye catching and pops for me.
Yep.
So those are definitely my top three. Um, let's talk about the worst ones.
Okay. Well, number one, you know, I feel like a hypocrite for saying this because I literally just agreed with you that I like the Vikings, but I don't like them. I lied to you. I don't like their jerseys. I literally have them as number
What
two
the
in the
fuck is the
worst.
point of this then? Why did we just have that whole conversation?
I
You're
just
an
wanted to give
asshole.
you I wanted to give you false hope.
You're
But
an
yeah,
asshole.
number one on the list actually is Browns. I think the Browns jerseys literally looks like doo-doo in a toilet bowl. It's terrible. All right. Not only, you know what made me hate the Browns jerseys? Johnny Manziel. Even though he didn't actually put it on for long, but I really don't like the jersey. I think they're trash. Vikings. I don't want to say I'm not a fan of like the purple, but I guess after I really like Adrian Peterson. So I guess once his era was kind of gone and he stopped, I just stopped liking their jersey in general. My last one, and maybe this is debatable, but I don't like the Chargers jerseys.
It's
I
not debatable.
don't
It's in
like.
my top three. It's in my top three too, man. That's funny.
Yeah,
So the Chargers have those baby blue ones, and back when like LaDainian Tomlinson was on the team, I really liked it when they wore those baby blue Chargers jerseys. I do like those ones a lot. But
that was okay.
when you
Yeah,
come to the dark blue ones and the plain white jerseys, I think the Chargers jerseys are boring as well. They're on my list. Number two for me is the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys jerseys at all.
really,
I just
really,
think,
not
it
even a
took
little bit.
no, I mean no, okay, a little bit, like enough to where I'm not like those are the ugliest things I've ever seen, but I
Okay,
don't think there's enough there. If you think about it, their helmet is not a bright color. It's nothing like that. It's just that silver with the star, which I get it. That's the iconic thing. That's fine. But they have they've only got the two jerseys, right? They've got the white with the silver pants, and then they've got that dark blue with the silver pants. But they never wear those dark blue jerseys. Very, very rarely. It took me like forever. I remember like being a young kid and thinking that the Cowboys only had those white jerseys. Like I feel like they never wear those they never wear those dark ones. I
I
just
can
think
I
that
can somewhat agree with you.
I just
Actually, I agree
think
with that.
they never really change it up. And I know that like the Cowboys, back in the 80s and the 90s, they were really iconic. They're America's team. I just think that they're boring now. I think some things need to update. I mean, we saw that the Jets just changed their jerseys.
Yeah,
They're not even in my top list, for a reason. I'm not huge on them. But,
yeah.
every team changes their jerseys, and I don't think the Cowboys have, and I think they're boring. Like,
Hey, hold up. Let me say a PSA real quick to anybody, whether you're a sports fan or you're not a sports fan. Speaking of the Cowboys, and we're gonna segue the Patriots into this because they're both hated teams, right? We can both agree that everybody, for whatever reason or another, or no reason at all, hates the Patriots and also
unless
hates
they're
the
a fan of them.
Cowboys,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I asked somebody recently, right? Somebody that doesn't have a football background, and I say that based off of their response to this. They said, the Cowboys just really suck. And I'm like, they're actually not doing that bad. And they're like, no, the Cowboys just suck in general. And so do those cheaters, the Patriots. I said, what do you hate about the Cowboys? I don't know. I just hate them. I'm like, okay. What do you hate about the Patriots? Oh, they're cheaters. Well, what did they cheat about? Oh, well, Tom Brady deflates balls. First of all, that sounds weird. Change what you just said. Secondly, second,
I just hate it when Tom Brady shrivels up my balls.
yo, and secondly, what do you mean? Because anybody that plays football, you know that every single football is inspected by the referees and officials. So how did he just deflate them on the field?
Except in that one game.
But that's not his fault, though. You can't blame that on him. But anyway, I'm not here to defend anybody. Don't say you hate somebody if you don't have a valid reason, okay? That's all I want to say.
And with that being said, third on my list is the Patriots.
This guy right here, bro.
Bro, I think the Patriots jerseys are the same thing.
You
Are the
cannot
same
make
thing as
this
the
shit up,
Cowboys.
man.
The same thing as the Cowboys, man. I think they're just boring. Like, listen, I hate the Patriots, but I can separate the two things aside. You know what I mean? I really can. If they had nice jerseys, I'd give them the respect that they have nice jerseys, but they just don't. I think
I don't
think the
mind
helmet's boring. I think that that dark blue is boring. I think the color combination is old. And obviously it's another iconic team. They're never going to change it. That's fine, but I just think it's boring.
What I'm hearing from Mr. Jackson is you don't like America. Is that what it is?
Well,
you're not
hate the Patriots. I hate the Patriots, that's for sure.
So you hate America.
That blue on the Patriots jersey is not America's blue.
It's not. Actually, your shirt is more American blue than that.
Yeah. All right. I'm bored of this. So let's just move on to something else. All right. So we've got upcoming this week. We've got the shittiest game of the week, I like to call it. We've got the Redskins and the Dolphins. Both teams have not won a game yet. It looks like both teams are trying to lose on purpose to try and get that number 1 overall pick. And I wish we included Addy into this conversation. We're going to have him on next week because I really want to hear him talk about the Dolphins. I mean,
I want to hear him defend the Dolphins. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Dolphins right now, as we're making this episode, have the same record as the Jets, or at least that they're in the sense that neither team has won. But I'm not going to defend the Jets. They fucking suck. I bet you Addy would defend the Dolphins. But it's just super interesting because
the first thing he's going to say is, do you remember in 1972 when they went undefeated? Did your Jets ever do that?
Fucking Dan Marino, bro, when I wasn't even alive. But interesting thing about when these teams, I like it when these teams, when it's a team that's 5-0 and another team that's 5-0 and they face each other and somebody's got to lose. Well, in this situation, somebody's got to win, which means that one gets the leg over the other for the number 1 overall pick. So who's going to take away this game? Who's going to win?
Who wants it worse?
Now,
that's all I want to know.
Now, just some background for you. The Redskins just fired their coach. Okay?
I heard.
So the Redskins have a new coach. Who knows who's going to be starting at quarterback because the Redskins have had 3 different quarterbacks play in the last 2 weeks. But again, the Dolphins are really, really, really bad this year. Really bad this year. So who wins that game? The answer is neither.
Imagine if it's a tie, bro. I would. Oh my god.
It can be.
It can be. I would fucking cry.
A 0-0 draw would be fantastic. I would watch the whole thing.
I'm gonna put my chips on the Dolphins beating the Redskins. It has to be that way.
I think the Redskins are going to win for sure. I think the Dolphins are that bad. I think the Dolphins are that bad. I think they're trying to lose on purpose. Listen, the Redskins, truthfully, we can make jokes about it. The Redskins were trying to win. Okay, they did not go into the season purposely trying to lose. They were not in the position that the Dolphins were in. The Dolphins literally traded away all their best players to acquire picks so that they can completely rebuild. The Redskins didn't do that. A coach lost his job 4 weeks into the season because of how bad they were doing. If they had expectations that they were going to lose all season, they wouldn't have fired their head coach. The Dolphins head coach is still there, and they've got 2 total touchdowns all season.
Also, think about it, bro. First of all, the Redskins are not a winning culture. Everybody knows that. The Redskins...
the Washington racial slurs.
They suck, bro. You know what I mean? And I guess from a coaching standpoint or from an executive... Let me slow down. How do you know what the Redskins are thinking? Because you sound like you're in executive meetings with them. First of all,
I do have inside sources.
Our plan wasn't to tank this season. Well, how do you know that?
Why would they fire the coach then? Expectations would have been set at the beginning of the season. It's the same
rebuild, right? Rebuild. So
they would have done that in the offseason.
When you're trying to rebuild, not halfway, a quarter way through the season. First thing you're going to do is get rid of the coaching and see if something is different about it.
Why would you choose to rebuild a quarter of the way through the season? That doesn't make sense. If you knew you were going to rebuild.
What I'm saying is there's been instances where we've seen head coaches get fired after successful times, just like Raptors head coach 2 years ago. All right, bear with me. Bear with me. Nick Nurse comes in, they win a championship. Before they made second round in the playoffs, okay, but they fired him off a successful season.
After winning Coach of the Year, Dwayne Casey.
After winning, yeah, I couldn't think of his name. Thanks, Coach of the Year, Dwayne Casey. This is just the business. It's the era of the business that we live in. One little mistake or one good thing that doesn't happen to build that. Basically, the Redskins suck. So an executive looking at that is, okay, well, my franchise that I spend $16 billion a year on is trash, and we might as well try somebody else. It doesn't do us any good, and it doesn't do us any bad.
Mm-hmm.
What difference does it make? They suck.
Well, for me, I think oh, no, you're back.
Yeah.
They suck either way. You're right. But if they were trying to lose on purpose, then they wouldn't have fired the coach that had led them to not win a game yet. You know what I mean?
Well, if I get it, but what's the difference? There's no difference because they're not winning regardless.
The difference is if they bring in a coach, this coach is obviously not going to go, let me lose games to secure my job position. That doesn't make sense. He's going to go in winning games to show that the executives, hey, I've got the goods. I've got what it takes to be a coach in the NFL. He's not. No coach is going to lose on purpose. The Dolphins scenario, once they started trading away all those players, they were like, obviously they're not losing on purpose. None of those players are losing on purpose because it doesn't benefit their careers to lose. But there was that communicated between the head coach and the general manager of the team, like, hey, we're not going to be very good this year. Don't worry about losing your job. I assume this. Obviously, I don't know. I assume this.
Well, I mean, you were in the press conference, and you were on that phone.
I am the general manager.
You should know.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you're trading away all these players, they can't have the expectations that the head coach is going to have a good season. So I imagine that they had that conversation, like, listen, you guys are going to lose a lot of games this year. Next year is when we're really going to start, tracking your progress and taking it seriously. I don't think that firing their head coach midway through the season means that the Redskins are trying to lose on purpose. They fired their head coach because they want to win games. They need some new leadership in there.
You basically just allowed the Dolphins to have an excuse for being as bad as the Redskins by comparing their two coaching situations. First of all, you just don't like the Dolphins. That's just what it is. Secondly, you just said, oh, well, the Dolphins, you basically, because you were in that press conference somehow, you basically said, the Dolphins, we're bad, so we can afford to lose. And because we're not firing you yet, that's our reason for losing. But then on the Redskins side, equally as bad, maybe even, not a little bit, not even worse. They're not worse than the Dolphins.
Statistically, they're not.
They're not. So then you go to the Redskins and you basically point the finger and say, oh, well, we're in the same situation, but you're also not winning, so we're firing you. If next week the Dolphins head coach gets fired, right? Basically, you sound dumb.
Yeah,
if the Dolphins head coach gets fired next week.
And we'll do that next week if that happens. What I'm saying now is the Dolphins, the executives of the Dolphins never had expectations of winning, which is why Brian Flores, the head coach of the Dolphins, still has a job. The reason why Jay Gruden no longer has a job with the Redskins is because the Redskins weren't planning on being this bad. And when they were this bad, they said, something's got to change. So they fired him.
Hey, okay, there you go. You're telling me that the Dolphins didn't expect to win this year. That's what you just said, right?
100%.
So they did all that offseason building because we agreed that the Dolphins got good players with good names.
No, they didn't.
Bro, are you insane?
They got Josh Rosen and Ryan Fitzpatrick. They traded away Kenny Stills, their best wide receiver. They traded away Laramie Tunsil, their best offensive lineman. They traded away Minkah Fitzpatrick to your team. They traded all these players away for picks. Of course they're not trying to win. If they were trying to win, they would have traded picks for players instead of the other way around. What players did they get?
Jackson. Okay, Hunter Jackson. Let me just bring you back down to earth real quick. We both agreed in the beginning, right? When we spoke about teams of expectations, okay? Nobody said that they were going to be the best team. We both knew that they weren't going to be the best team. If I recall, we actually somewhat agreed on the Browns only because of the names, right?
Yeah.
The players that they acquired. here and say, and I do understand your logic. Okay, if you get picks, obviously you're looking to rebuild, which is what the Knicks try to do but never do.
It's true. It's
Trying.
true.
It is. So they're trying to get picks. What I'm not understanding is your comparison between the Redskins and them. Now I get it. The Redskins did not give up. Essentially, they didn't trade away their team to try to get better. They somewhat retained their team in hopes to get somewhat, a leg up on whatever division.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is how can you sit here and say they're in the same situation? How can you compare one's chips to the other? It's technically the same thing, minus that their head coach got fired.
Well,
that's the only difference.
Both chips aren't worth anything because they're both terrible. I'm just saying that I think one team's trying to lose on purpose, and it's obvious. Not the players, but the management was built this team to lose on purpose so they can get the number 1 overall pick, Tua. And I think the Redskins actually thought, hey, we're going to be pretty decent this year because last year they were good. And it all fell apart. Once Alex Smith got hurt, it all fell apart. And now they're trying to do this rebuilding thing where Case Keenum was the starting quarterback, and then Case Keenum got replaced midway through the game with Dwayne Haskins, who they drafted this year. And then the very next week, because they still haven't won a game, they start Colt McCoy, which is a name that is funny to me because I remember when he came out of the college and he was supposed to be the best thing that ever happened, and he's a third-string quarterback now. But that's neither here nor there. But it's just they're trying to switch these things up to actually win a game. The Dolphins are trading away players that could actually help them win games so that they don't win games.
But what I'm trying to get you to understand is we associate a big name, meaning like in this day and age, a big name in any sport, right? You put one big name and you expect all this greatness from that individual, right? I don't know if you heard the last thing I just said.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. Just because you trade away a big name doesn't mean that the secondary or the third person is not going to produce sometimes better than the big name.
That's true.
One person that I actually love to bring up is Draymond Green or somebody like Lou Williams was a later Drake pick.
Even if you want to keep it in football, you're 100% right. James Conner, that whole Le'Veon Bell, then he decided not to play. James Conner played fantastic last year. So absolutely right.
That's the point that I'm making exactly is that they may trade away a big name, but they didn't produce anyway. So why not just it's almost like giving your other players just burn time. You know what I'm saying? So, but in the sense that, oh well, maybe we'll win, maybe we won't. I personally don't think. You just got blurry as hell.
I'm sorry. Listen, man, I'm very uncomfortable holding this laptop up with my arms. I need to go to the gym more. I'm tired.
You do need to go to the gym more, Hunter.
And now you're lagging. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. I don't expect that they're actually tanking on purpose. That's the only thing I really don't agree with. But it is to be, Hey, if they lose this week, they can go 0-16 for all I care. It doesn't matter to me.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just agree to disagree. Regardless, you think the Dolphins are going to win? Is that what you said?
Dolphins will beat the Redskins.
Okay. I'm hoping the Redskins win only because I think the Dolphins could truly go 0-16, and that would be hilarious. Moving on. Let's talk a little NBA basketball, baby, because it's back. Now, it's only the preseason. It's only the preseason, but I have been itching and yearning and burning for some NBA basketball.
There's some cream for that if you're burning, by the way. It's helpful.
That was my ode to Walt Clyde Frazier. When you watch the Knicks games on MSG, he's the announcer. And I don't know how much you know of Walt Clyde Frazier, but he played for the Knicks in the 70s. He's like,
I do know.
Okay, cool. Yes. Cool. But he always has these sayings, and half the time they don't make sense, but they have to rhyme with each other. That's like the only way I can get Christina to watch the Knicks games is because she likes to hear what he's going to say. Because he'll be like, Kristaps Porzingis is wheeling and dealing, styling and profiling. Like he makes the two words rhyme. So that was my ode to him. But anyway, we had seen some NBA preseason. There's a couple things I want to talk about. First thing, Zion Williamson.
Wait. I bet you. For anybody that's watching right now, I I know what Mr. Jackson is gonna say. He's gonna say what he
Hold
just
on,
said.
hold on.
He's
I'm
say,
gonna take my headset off. I
okay,
can't hear you without my headset off. You tell them what you think I'm gonna say,
okay,
and then I'll say it. Okay?
yep. So everybody, Hunter Jackson is gonna say he just mentioned Zion Williamson, right? Who is supposed to be this NBA prospect, the closest thing to LeBron James, this, that, and the third. He's gonna talk about how Zion is the face of the NBA right now for rookies. He looks so fucking ugly ass bitch. But he's also gonna say, "Oh, well, nobody's talking about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett scored 22 points and blah blah blah." I guarantee you that's what he's gonna say.
All right. So what I was gonna say is, hey, NBA is back. It just started the preseason. I'm all excited. So I started talking about Zion Williamson, and he did look good in that first game,
Look
right?
great, baby.
You see those highlights, all those dunks. That's what we expected, right?
I watched every preseason game.
And you know what made me happy about Zion playing so well and getting those dunks is like earlier this week or last week they came out with the heights, and it turned out that Zion was actually way shorter than he was listed as, because they did
6'6", right? Is he 6'6"?
And he was like formerly listed at like 6'9", and then like Steph Curry was always listed at 6'1", but he's actually like 5'10", like all this like.
I have a hard time believing that.
It's interesting, right? It's interesting though, because I think there's always been an issue with whoever is measuring the height in the NBA, because Durant is like listed at 6'9", and he's clearly 7 feet.
7 fucking feet
it's
tall.
Clearly. Yeah. But anyway, Zion played great, even though he's only 6 foot tall. and it was awesome. He put up those crazy dunks, and he had 16 points. And everybody in the world, ESPN, the whole country's talking, that boy Zion. He had such a great game.
Baby.
You know who had the same stat line as Zion, but actually scored one more point? RJ Barrett.
For anybody listening, did I not say that?
RJ Barrett
listening, just know that I am a god.
RJ Barrett had the same exact stats as Zion, except for one thing.
One more point.
Zion had 17 points. Zion had 16 points. RJ Barrett had 17 points.
He did.
Yeah, but nobody was talking about that. And you know what?
Oh
Understandable.
Understandable. I'm such a genius.
Well, you know me. God. I mean, we're friends. I mean, come on. You know me. Understandably so, because the Knicks have been terrible for a long time, and Zion is the new best thing since sliced bread and LeBron James, right? I mean, come on. We'll see what happens, though. However, great game from RJ Barrett, but the best part in that Knicks game is is the Knicks versus the Wizards.
Of course.
Of
course when you say the best part of that Knicks game, you cut out. So say it again.
Oh, okay. The best part of that Knicks game, the Knicks versus Wizards game, is Marcus Morris in the first half had 17 points in the first half. And so in the second quarter, he's got the ball at the top of the key, and Ryan Anderson on the Wizards is playing really tight defense on him, right? And so he's in triple threat, and he throws an elbow and smokes Ryan Anderson right in the face. So Ryan Anderson is kind of like complaining to the ref, but also gets right back on and playing hard defense. So Marcus Morris smokes the basketball off his forehead, and then they get into a fight, and Marcus Morris actually gets ejected from the game. And that was the best thing ever for me, because, listen, I've put up with a lot of shit from you guys for a long time about the Knicks being trash, and they can still be trash, but at least this year they're going to fight. And I'm happy about that. They can still not win any games, but they can fist fight, and I'm cool with that.
Well, I'm sorry that Hardaway Jr. has no hands. I'm sorry that Ron Baker looks like he got bullied in high school. I apologize.
He definitely did.
I apologize, man.
Did you see his college picture? He had a perm. But anyway, those guys aren't on the team anymore. I'll send it to you. It's bad. It's bad.
That is something
really, really bad. But regardless, those guys aren't on the team anymore. And actually, this Knicks team actually has a lot of grit, grind type players. And so, where we lack in talent, we may make up for in aggression. We'll see. I mean, I'm not expecting anything crazy from the Knicks. I'm really not. But I don't think that we're going to be this terrible team we've been for the last 4 or 5 years either. I think we're actually going to be like a middle of the pack, maybe like 6th seed in the East playoff team, maybe. I don't think we're going to be amazing.
Are you freaking drunk, bro?
Dude, the East is trash.
You surprise me a lot sometimes, bro. Oh, bro, my God.
The East is trash.
Oh my God, bro. You
Obviously,
honestly surprised the fuck out of me, bro.
obviously the Celtics, the Sixers, the Heat.
Toronto Raptors,
No,
Milwaukee Bucks.
the Bucks
Did
for
you
sure.
just
The
did you just
Raptors
say
aren't
no
going to
to
be
the?
good. Raptors aren't going to be good.
So the Knicks are gonna do better than the Raptors this year.
No, but the Raptors aren't going to be good.
They're gonna make the playoffs, bro.
Sure, maybe, but they're not going to be like a top 3 seed in the East. They lost the only player on that team that ever did anything.
I
mean,
get
you
it.
got
No,
Siakam.
I get it. Pascal Siakam is
Yeah.
going to be the best player on that
Yeah, I
team.
mean, you got Siakam, but then you also got Kyle Lowry, who you can never really depend on. He did play great in the NBA Finals, but I mean, they lost the second best player in the league. I mean, they're not going to be that great. That
Second
team,
best. Who
yeah,
was better than Kawhi last year?
I mean, last year nobody, but I'm just saying, like
Okay.
in general, like
Okay.
there's always the discussion. Kawhi, there was nobody better than Kawhi last year,
Okay.
except for I guess Giannis, who won the MVP, but Kawhi had the biggest impact for sure.
For sure.
But anyway, man, and if you have anything to say about those NBA preseason games, I'm just excited that basketball is back. I'm excited to be back in New York where I can watch the Knicks lose every night because I couldn't do that in Kentucky. I had to like illegally stream the games.
Listen. And since you said illegally, I will be reporting your name
Shit.
to the proper authorities. All right. Nah, listen. Football is not
a lot, Reddit.
Football is not a good time for me right now. The Steelers are not doing well. So now that basketball came around, I get to watch the Bulls. Hopefully, I don't have high expectations for them, but got a couple new players, got decent coaching. So I think it's going to be very good to just watch the whole preseason. First of all, we talked about it before, the tandem of James Harden and Russell Westbrook. I don't know if you saw, even though they're in Japan playing great together, and Daniel House Jr., bro, a fucking problem. A problem. Great player. Preseason is so exciting to watch. Zion, his epic dunks. Even though the dude is a pure dunker, I just love watching him in the post and watching Giannis play. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Giannis is looking a lot better.
And he's got a jump shot a little bit now. Look out.
Hey, let's talk about a jump shot. Ben Simmons, first career jump shot this season.
Yeah, it doesn't count, dude. First of all, and you're lagged. So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I heard you. Did you hear me?
Yeah, Ben Simmons, that 3-pointer doesn't count. First of all, super embarrassing. Super embarrassing that it took him this long to make one. Second, if stats don't count in the preseason. So did he hit a 3-pointer?
No. Yeah, he did.
Okay, but was it against an NBA team? No, it wasn't.
Who cares, bro?
It was against
it's
like
about
a Chinese
shooting.
It doesn't matter. Of course he's going to hit him. Of course it doesn't count. It doesn't count. If he did that, I'll give it to him if he did it against the Rockets in the preseason. But he did it against he gave it against a Chinese team called the Long Lions.
Okay, so RJ Barrett's stat line doesn't matter. He didn't do it in an NBA game. So stop bragging about it.
That's true.
It doesn't matter.
You're right, but it was at least against an NBA team. The Sixers beat up on scrubs in China.
Bro, but whose fault is it that they're scrubs? You're acting like it's their fault or something. Like, just be happy for the guy that everybody. Now, hold on. I thought what you were going to say was it's embarrassing that we're all this happy that he made a 3-pointer. Which it is.
They celebrated like they won the NBA Finals in a preseason game because he hit a 3-pointer. He hit a 3-pointer on a guy that was 5'11" that made it into the China League and not the NBA.
Which is true. It honestly, if you notice, everybody was hype. He was the only one. He didn't smile once, which I was. I lost fierceness in his mind. Like, you know what? Damn, your Wi-Fi is garbage, homie.
Terrible.
So I love that he didn't smile once. Like his whole team celebrated. I love that he didn't smile because it showed the fierceness that, you know what? I've been in the league, even though injured the first year, which people count it, some people don't. If you don't play, I don't count it. It's taken him this long. I said before that Ben Simmons is going to develop a jump shot, and I truly wholeheartedly believe that. Just like Giannis is going to develop a jump shot. And already looks a little better, though.
Yeah, and listen, I've seen the videos. I know Ben Simmons is going to be hitting threes this year. But you know what? If I was Ben Simmons, I would have been mad at my teammates for celebrating that hard about making a 3-pointer, okay? Like, that
Yeah, I
3-pointer
would have been
means
too.
nothing. Guess what? You're an NBA player. You should make a fucking 3-pointer, okay? It took you 2 seasons. This is your 3rd season. He's been in the league 4 years, but this is really his 3rd season playing. And he made the comment, well, you know what? I made an all-star game. And it's like, okay, but make a 3-pointer. You know
True.
what? That's true. You
But
made an
it's
all-star
not.
game.
But it's not all about that, though, Hunter. I get at this age, it is about shooting threes tentatively. The man can do everything else but shoot. Give him time. He's not even in his prime yet.
No.
The NBA prime is listed at. By the way, he's got time.
27. You lagged on my side. Did you say the NBA prime is at age 27?
No, it's 26 to 31.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't hear you. But yeah, I don't think, obviously he's not even in his prime yet. And I'm just saying, if I was Ben Simmons, I'd be a little bit mad that everyone was so excited that I just made a shot. It's kind of like them making fun of you at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Finally.
Yep. You're right. You know who else is starting to develop a jump shot, though?
That's why he couldn't crack a smile, though, because he was embarrassed.
Well, yeah, a little bit. But here's something for you. Now, I hope that you watched Lakers preseason. I hope you did.
I saw LeBron dive for the ball in Lakers preseason and Anthony Davis throw up crazy numbers.
My God, bro. That's just a sneak peek. Let me just go over Lakers big men situation. Obviously, you got Dwight Howard coming off the bench, which I think is pretty good, a solid, decent player. You got JaVale McGee. Wait, what happened?
I said we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Bro, they just have such a great core. Like, to me, I think that Shamit is one of my favorite, like, up and coming players. Shamit, I think he's going to be fantastic. Did you see Rajon Rondo making threes? He's looking like Celtics Rondo out there. He was looking great.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited. The NBA is going to be fun, and the NBA is going to give us a lot of content on the show, and for that, I am forever grateful. I do want to wrap it up because the internet seems to be getting worse the later we get into the show. It's been fun. Hopefully next week my studio doesn't look like this. And anything you got to say?
Yeah, I heard you lag you lagged, but I heard you lag the whole entire time. You're like, my studio.
Just say goodbye.
So no, I'm gonna say goodbye when I feel like it.
All right, we'll just wait.
Well, everybody. No, I want to thank everybody. Like I said, man, I appreciate everybody for listening. I don't know why you didn't say this, but we're sponsored by LCast Media, just in case anybody forgot about that or something like that. Yeah.
Subscribe.
So
hit the bell. Please.
Everybody that's watching, if your ears aren't hurting from him screaming for no reason, yeah, like, subscribe, let us know what you feel. And honestly, hey, we are not like, and please agree with me on this, we're not shy about having anybody that has any sort of sports input that is relevant. Please. We'd like to have you on the show.
Come on the show.
Please,
but if you're trash, we're gonna roast the fuck out of you, though. That's just it is what it is.
100%. If you come here with some
on our show,
if you come
on our show
with some weak garbage, you will be embarrassed. You will not only your little square that's in the corner in Skype, it's gonna be woo, and it's gonna go away.
We can fucking remove you from the call faster than you can get your takeout.
Hey, but if you want to reach us on any sort of social media at The Jackson and Shabazz Show. If you want to be on the show potentially, send us a message. I would say Facebook would be better. Send us a message on there. Give us some content. Show us what you got. We'd be glad to have you on.
And we're offering a new promotion to every new subscriber that we get on the show. Abdullah Shabazz will personally give you $1. All right, everybody, have a good day.
No, I won't.